Welcome to part 5 of the narcissism analysis on Zanab Jaffries from Love is Blind. In the last part, we saw Cole confronting Zanab after she unleashed a torrent of criticisms of him. However, every time Cole tried to bring up her behaviour, she shut him down with a manipulation such as deflection, blame shifting, threat, or accusation. We continue their conversation.
I'm telling you, there's been a ton of moments leading up to this where I thought we were great, and as I'm piecing the puzzle together, I don't feel good about this in this moment.
I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna spill chicken. Chicken isn't a deal breaker for me. I see you picking things up, and I see you making the bed, and I try to always be like, oh, you took the trash out. Oh, you made the bed, I love it.
Cole says he's not feeling good about their relationship. Instead of trying to get to the bottom of why this is and discussing both of their behaviour, Zanab's attitude is basically, oh, you're not that bad, at least you're trying to improve by taking out the trash and things. It's just assumed that all their issues are Cole's fault. Her narcissism blinds her to the idea that she might be playing a part in the relationship problems. Lack of accountability and lack of empathy. In fact, Zanab actually thinks she's being supportive of Cole. However, if we believe what she's telling him and she stands there saying, oh, you made the bed, I love it, this would come across as more patronising and haughty than supportive, especially given that she herself is far from perfect when it comes to domestic habits, as we saw in the last part. This is her fake empathy her narcissism displays in order to try and appear like she's a good person. It's just not the way that somebody with real empathy would typically behave.
It's the way that we relate. I want a wife who laughs with me and builds me up and isn't pissed
I do laugh
and
with you,
ticked
and I do
perturbed
build
by
you up.
every
Again, as we saw in the last part, Zanab shuts Cole down as soon as he brings up her behaviour, which shows her lack of accountability. She doesn't even let him finish his sentence before the manipulations start. Interruption, denial, and revision of history. Her narcissism deludes her into thinking she's kind and supportive, building Cole up, despite the many occasions we've seen of her tearing him down and criticising everything he does.
With you, and I do
perturbed
build
by
you up.
every little thing that happens that isn't ideal.
It's so
and
not fair. It is so not, that's so not fair.
I would expect my wife to just like me a little bit more, I guess.
How can you think I don't like you? How can you think that?
There's just moments.
What do you need from me to show you that I like you?
To not feel like I'm inferior.
I have never thought that of you, ever.
Okay.
What have I done to make you feel inferior?
Just the things in the kitchen where you're kind of like...
We have different cooking techniques.
putting
That
me
stuff on
down.
time.
Like all unaware narcissists, Zanab can't see that her behaviour is abusive. This is the narcissistic perspective. A narcissist views the same situation as their victim, but perceives it in an entirely different way, where they're the victim rather than the abuser. There's no point trying to convince a narcissist that their behaviour is abusive. They're fundamentally incapable of accepting it, because it would pin them with accountability and give away control, something a narcissist can't do. Zanab denies thinking Cole's inferior, despite having just ordered him round in the kitchen like he was a child. She writes off his accusation of her putting him down as just having different cooking techniques, euphemizing it. Again, this shows her lack of accountability and blindness to reality.
How did I put you down?
Every day, there's just things that you say. Like, I want someone sweet. I want sweet Zay.
I am extremely sweet, but pick and choose your battles. No, I'm not always gonna have a great attitude. I won't.
Zanab thinking she's extremely sweet again shows the blindness to reality that her narcissism causes and her grandiosity. She immediately contradicts herself by saying that she isn't always going to have a great attitude. Instead of seeing that not always having a great attitude could be her own problem that she needs to deal with, she blame shifts and tells Cole to pick and choose his battles. Basically, he needs to deal with it. Sense of entitlement, lack of accountability, and lack of empathy.
I want to just not get punched in the face when I first see you after...
Did not do that.
Denial and revision of history. When a narcissist has their sense of control challenged, they feel fury. and this prompts them to respond in a way that reasserts control. The most polished narcissists, for example those at the top level in areas like business or politics, typically have a high level of control over their ignited fury and can keep it hidden. On the other extreme, there are obvious narcissists that operate a hair trigger and explode with ignited fury when they're challenged, shouting or using physical violence. Zanab is somewhere in the middle. She has moderate control over her ignited fury, which is why we sometimes see outbursts of fury from her. Here, you can see her visibly struggling to compose herself in order to keep her fury under control, as she's repeatedly challenged by Cole questioning her behavior.
First see you after... That's...
Did not do that.
Sure felt like it. Here we are, having a wedding, and we're still kind of like... just not even like assuming the right things, you know? And you're telling me you want me to say yes to you on wedding day, but how does any of that today
Cole, you need to
make you think that I'm gonna say yes on wedding day?
Okay. I don't know what you want me to say, because this is really our last night together. I don't think the problems we have are enough to say I don't. Marriage is hard work, and I think it's gonna be hard work with anyone. You just have to pick the person that you're happy to do hard work with. And if that is not me for you, then that is what you need to figure out and let me know. Because I know I can do hard stuff with you.
Cole's doubts about the wedding threaten Zanab's control over him, so she manipulates. She triangulates him by saying that marriage is going to be hard work with anyone. In other words, he'd be having problems with anybody else too, so stop complaining. She says that she doesn't think the problems they have are enough to say I don't, and that she knows she can do the required hard work to make it work with him. This is a way of guilting him, because if he gives up now, he's the one quitting on the relationship, not her. Notice that she also says he needs to tell her if he doesn't want to go ahead with the marriage, despite her telling him a short while ago that she wouldn't know herself until she was walking down the aisle. This shows hypocrisy. And again, you can see Zanab struggling to keep her ignited fury under control. By the way, you'll often hear narcissists saying things like, marriage is hard work, or relationships are hard work. Why? Firstly, they're rejecting accountability for their role in making the relationships difficult and blame shifting. It's not the narcissist's fault, it's that relationships are hard in general. Secondly, the narcissist only knows difficult relationships. Often, every relationship they've been in has been filled with drama, so in their mind, relationships are difficult. However, when it comes to non-narcissists, it's very possible for two people to be in a stable, mutually supportive relationship rather than a difficult one. There may be outside issues that cause difficulties in it, such as illness or losing a job, but the relationship itself isn't the source of this difficulty, unlike when a narcissist is involved.
Thank you for telling me how you really feel, though. I didn't know that you still wanted to marry me.
If I didn't want to marry you, my stuff would already be out of that closet, and I would have been long gone.
I want this more than anyone in this experience. My proposal means a lot to me. I know that you love me. I want to say I do to you. Just be sweet. Just be unassuming.
Be unassuming. Have you met women anywhere?
Another rejection of accountability from Zanab. She can't be unassuming because apparently this isn't something women do. She's happy to tar half the world's population with the same brush to excuse her own behaviour. Blame shifting and triangulation.
I'm not going to sit here and convince you. I am a great, great girl. Your family would be crazy not to love me. I am a catch of the century. I am.
Grandiosity. A narcissist's underlying mindset is that they're better than everyone else. When someone criticizes them, this infuriates them. How can somebody so far below them dare to criticize them? Zanab thinks it's beneath her to justify her actions to Cole, or to convince him to be with her. As she herself puts it, she's catch of the century. He should feel privileged to have her.
Catch of the century. I am.
Except for when you have a bad attitude. Are you bipolar?
Narcissists are sometimes mistaken for having bipolar disorder. This is because of a narcissist's black and white thinking, where they fluctuate between idealizing and devaluing their victim. The victim can't understand why their partner sometimes treats them well and sometimes demeans, attacks, or ignores them. They might have heard a little bit about bipolar disorder and think that it could explain the behavior. However, there are some key differences. Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder which causes manic episodes and depressive episodes. It doesn't turn somebody into an abuser when they're feeling depressed. Manic or depressive episodes typically last for several days, whereas in narcissism they can be fleeting, sometimes lasting for a matter of minutes. Unsurprisingly, Cole asking Zanab if she's bipolar is perceived as a criticism. We catch a brief glimpse of the narcissist glare, a form of intimidation to try and nullify a threat to control, in this case, warning Cole to stop talking. By the way, as I've pointed out before, I'm not defending Cole or taking his side in this series. This isn't a who's in the right analysis. Clearly, accusing somebody of being bipolar is not an appropriate action. However, this series is purely an analysis on the narcissistic red flags that Zanab displays. If I also started analysing and critiquing Cole's behaviour, it would make these videos far too long and dilute from their purpose.
We're having a very serious conversation.
Deflection and dismissiveness.
What did I ask you just now? I asked you a question.
You asked if I was bipolar.
Oh, are you bipolar?
Are you projecting?
Cole won't back down and asks Zanab again. She nullifies the threat to control by accusing him right back, asking if he's projecting. In other words, if he has bipolar disorder.
You are obviously entitled to and allowed to think whatever you want. I've given you no reason to think
You're
any
not
of those
bipolar.
things. No. If you want, there are plenty of women that fit the bill for what you are looking for that will be sweet to you every day of your life. You go find one tonight. You can find one tomorrow at your bachelor party. If that is what you want, go find it. Leave me alone for whatever you are doing with me, because I don't want to be here anymore.
Zanab tells Cole that if he wants a sweet girl, he should go and find one tonight or tomorrow at his bachelor party. She's manipulating him with triangulation and threatened loss. Basically, if he wants to keep going on about her needing to be nicer, he can go and find himself another woman. It's yet another manipulation to shut down his criticisms of her. Zanab isn't willing to change her behaviour. It's her way or the highway, and they break up. This shows her sense of entitlement, lack of accountability, lack of empathy, and haughtiness. Zanab makes it clear that she isn't going to be one of these women who will always be sweet to Cole. Many narcissists actually recognise that they can be difficult. As Zanab put it earlier, I'm not always going to have a great attitude. But they always feel that this behaviour is justified. Sometimes it might be because they think the other person winds them up. Or there's some other excuse, like, I just love so much, which makes me really passionate when I argue. Notice that Zanab is now saying that there are sweet girls, which contradicts her earlier implication that women are not unassuming. A narcissist's need to assert control in the moment means that they frequently contradict themselves. Right at the end, Zanab asserts control by withdrawal as she storms out of the apartment, a common behaviour from narcissists when they see that a direct assertion of control, in this situation continuing to argue with Cole, isn't working in asserting control. Walking off without resolving anything demonstrates a lack of accountability to the relationship. The conversation's over because she says it is. Cole goes outside to find Zanab.
Zanab!
Please stop being an asshole.
I'm not being an asshole.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
We see an outburst of Zanab's ignited fury. Please stop being an asshole, right now! Insult and an order. They sit down to talk outside, and things cool down pretty quickly. I'll skip to the main parts of the conversation, because it's not too interesting.
We had a really bad interaction. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it was neither of ours' fault.
If I'm not staying somewhere else tonight, can we go back inside?
Maybe we have worked too hard to let this just go.
I really do love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too.
That was really hard to see you leaving. I basically gave you every chance to say no, you don't want to marry me. And you didn't.
I would tell you, if I get up to that altar and you say I do, and I'm
You're gonna
like,
say I do too.
can see myself saying I do.
So Zanab and Cole make up, and Cole switches to being idealized once more by Zanab. This wraps up part 5 of the analysis. Please subscribe to my channel for future parts, including part 6, where we have the bachelorette party and the start of the wedding.